With Scarlett MccGwire, who's a former Labour Party media advisor. Scarlett's Benjamin there. So, I mean, this is the problem. When you work in media, you almost sort of salivate at days like today. It does make the job a bit more interesting. But actually, it's not that good for the country, is it, having all this constant chaos?
Oh, look, the last 6 months have been a disaster for the country. I mean, we've gone from crisis to crisis. It's just, I mean, I remember in January saying that I thought Boris Johnson was in a death spiral and nobody did anything. I mean, it just goes on and on. Tory MPs are slightly unhappy. People are sent out to say he's wonderful, and then there's another crisis, and then he changes the rules to get his friend Owen Paterson off the hook, and major crisis. We've just gone on and on. And yes, I mean, as a commentator, it's really, really good fun. But actually, as somebody who lives in the country and wants it run properly, it's a disaster.
Scarlett, what we're seeing from the views emailed in and on Twitter from GBNews viewers and listeners, and many of them will be across the Red Wall in the regions where the next general election will be decided. I think they're a very important set of constituencies and views. It's really split. A lot of our viewers and listeners are angry that the political and media class are playing a parlour game, that they don't care that NHS waiting lists are a record high. They don't care about the cost of living crisis because we're all reasonably well off and in our Westminster bubble. There is a danger of that, isn't there? And there's a danger for the Labour Party that they are seen to be part of that.
And look, every time a Labour MP is interviewed, they always say, I would rather be talking about the cost of living. I'd rather be talking about what we would do instead. But actually, genuinely, we have a government that does so little because it spends its life in crisis. It's not the media's fault. I mean, we could ignore it. We could let Boris Johnson, tell all his lies, not actually question it. We could let him get away with promoting a man that he knew had sexually assaulted somebody and is accused of a number. Since then, not just the night in the Carlton Club, masses of allegations about him. We could have ignored that Priti Patel was found to be a bully, and that his ethics advisor resigned. I mean, the problem is that we have governments do two things: is one, they should solve our problems, and two is they should hold the country to high standards. And that's what, I mean, I don't think Boris Johnson is doing either, but the high standards thing, I mean, he literally, or his team literally sent people out to tell lies. They were briefed that Boris didn't know anything, or then didn't know anything specific, or didn't know anything, and it changed every day. I mean, can you imagine the humiliation of going out, and by this time, you know that he's not really telling the truth. I mean, I think, I think we need integrity at the top of government.